Does that
deep
mean
into it.
a lot of that would then mean a lot of black people are racist?
A lot of black people are racist. I always say this. But what do you mean? But explain what you mean. The title is My Sister Made a Racist Joke. Now we have a family rift, right? And listen to the context. During a family meal, my eldest sister made a xenophobic joke. I told her she was racist and that I felt like leaving. She was angry and affronted. She denied being racist and said her joke was just clever play on words. I was upset but was persuaded to stay as I didn't want to ruin the day. However, my sister and I have not spoken since.
Okay. Can I ask for a bit of clarifications and stuff like that? So, for example, for starters, what's a xenophobic joke? What's xenophobic?
Xenophobia is when you single out a specific demographic, so not race per se. So, for example, xenophobia, a lot of xenophobia happens in South Africa where they don't really want other Africans there, so they start killing them and stuff like that.
Okay.
Other Africans there?
Yeah, because that's the xenophobia in South Africa, isn't it?
Okay.
So, in a simple example, what would you say the joke was? So, just a random example.
I don't know.
No, not that. If you were to make...
So, xenophobia, dislike or prejudice against people from other countries.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah, okay, fine. I get it now.
No,
yeah.
because okay.
I mean,
I'll
yeah.
give you an example. So the xenophobia in South Africa is the South Africans gang up against people from other African countries.
Okay,
So them
fine.
times
From
where
other Africa. Okay, because when you said it made it sound as if it was like Africans in South Africa against other Africans in South Africa.
So it's the South
But
African...
yes, it's the same
Anyway,
thing.
we've got the
okay.
definition.
Same thing.
So I understand. So in other words, it's like maybe she made a joke about Norwegians or made a joke about Polish people kind of thing, or
Yeah,
made a joke
yeah,
about
yeah.
whatever. Okay, fine. Okay.
How does that help you
No.
address the context though?
I know. I just wanted to understand. I mean, how can I comment on something when the
Okay,
key
fine,
word of
okay.
that piece I don't understand? So
Yeah,
can you read one more time
Racist,
for me, please?
xenophobic, it's all in the same WhatsApp group.
Yes.
So during a family meal, my eldest sister made a xenophobic joke. I told her she was racist and that I felt like leaving. She was angry and affronted. She denied being a racist and said her joke was just a clever play on words. I was upset but was persuaded to stay as I didn't want to ruin the day. However, my sister and I have not spoken since.
Okay.
Firstly, if it was a xenophobic joke, then it wasn't racism. Because race...
It could have
in
been.
the country... No,
Oh, yeah,
race in
yeah,
the
yeah.
country that
It could
you
have been.
come
From the definition, it could have been.
Race is your skin colour. Xenophobia is about the country that you come from and somebody disliking you because of the country you come from. So I could dislike you because you come from England. That's not racism. I don't dislike you because you are white.
But-
I am disliking you because you come from England.
But xenophobia can be racism. Because if
That's why the two
if an
things-
English person doesn't like Nigerians,
But it might not be because they're black. It just doesn't like the country Nigeria. That's what I'm saying. That's why the two things are differentiated.
okay, fine. So
You could be a white Nigerian
no.
and they still hate you because you're from Nigeria. Because
Were there more examples
like the
on the
definition
dictionary?
said, it's about you disliking somebody from a specific, having a prejudice about somebody from a specific country. You could meet a white South
but why?
African.
Is it because of culture?
It could
or
just
is
be
it because
it could just be you don't like that country, or you just don't like people from that country, or you have a thing about people from that country.
yeah, but why?
But see, the way, apologies, my fellow Zimbabwean people, I like you. The way people just have a dislike for Zim people a lot of the time, it could be maybe because they find them too loud or too condescending or this and the other. But I would say those two things have two different words for a reason. Xenophobia is one thing and racism is another thing.
Okay,
Fine, you
fine,
can say
fine.
somebody who's xenophobic, that can stem from racism, but I don't think those two words are interchangeable.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, I think
fine.
I'll be...
Welcome.
So that's our guest walking in, dragging her feet.
Drag those feet, or you drag them some more.
No, don't drag them. Did you want something to eat?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I mean, based on the definition, I think she's right.
Okay.
I don't know if race doesn't play a factor.
But how does that help address the scenario?
I guess I don't know about her, but I think it's just again just understanding the content first.
No, I'm addressing because obviously he's calling his sister a racist, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm saying it's fine to call her xenophobic if that's what the joke. I'm not saying she is xenophobic. I'm saying as it stands within the context of the conversation, I would take the racism out of it, because if her joke was xenophobic, then that's the conversation we're having. If he wants to tell us more about the joke, and it was more of a racial joke, then fair enough. But the statement says she made a xenophobic joke and therefore she's xenophobic and racist.
Okay, fine. Right. Okay, so we've clarified. If it's a xenophobic joke, it was xenophobic, not necessarily racist. Okay, fine. But then about the situation itself.
Okay. Here's my take on the situation. First thing, well done to her for not leaving and going. I think that would have been melodramatic, right? I think she did well to stay and finish the dinner. You remember that time?
He's the one that stayed to finish the dinner.
She's the one that stayed.
As far as I'm aware.
Yeah, they're sisters.
Yeah,
you remember that time when I almost took off my mic and I was about to leave? Guys, that was the best moment of my life. But yeah, so congratulations to her. I applaud her for that. However, I think for me, context is needed here, because I think it would depend on the dynamics that the two of them had to begin with, right? Because
well, do you want me to add context in regards to that then? So
if you can, yeah,
because she does actually clarify to say, "Oh, carry on." To say, when we were growing up, my sister and I got on well. So this isn't part of an ongoing competitive dynamic or anything. But these days, there are fundamental political differences between us.
There you go.
She has stayed at home, whereas I have traveled widely and now live in a more cosmopolitan area. Despite this, we usually rub along well, and I do want to heal this rift, but I don't know how.
Okay. Yeah. So I think, in my opinion, she's okay. The unfortunate thing is that I like the fact that she's traveled, she's seen the world, she's walked, right? In a good way, if I might add, right? In a sense that sometimes when you're behind closed doors, you don't know what's outside. Your views, your opinions on what you think is right and wrong might be specific to, where you are, without taking into account other stuff, right? So what you have two people that have grown up together, one who has been exposed to a lot, one hasn't. Yeah. Now, since she's been exposed to a lot, I feel like it's for her to be patient with the sister that hasn't. Yeah. It's for her to basically share the education and experience she's gained with her sister who's never left. Yeah. So as an fake job, you can be joke. You can explain. She can explain that to the sister, and of course, the sister is gonna defend us because she doesn't see that she's wrong. I feel like people need to realize that just because you think something is wrong to somebody, it doesn't mean that they're instantly going to be like, oh, you're right, I agree. Often these things take time, because you are imparting knowledge on somebody that's never seen the world like that. But she is right to do that, because, no country is an island. You see what I mean? We are sharing this world with other people, with other animals, with insects and so on and so forth. Maybe even with aliens if we go to the universe, right? So I feel like...
How did you get there?
Universe.
Let him carry on. Don't let him detour.
So I applaud her for not leaving, one. And two, I applaud her for wanting her sister not to have to remain in that narrow-mindedness, if I can add. But I feel like she needs to be patient. I feel like she just can't expect boom, and then the sister is there. Plus, she's added a bit of context about difference in politics and so on and so forth. You have to be able to get along with somebody despite your differences in politics, religions, views, especially if they're your family. I feel like it's the easiest when they're your family. So if she wants to get over that, for me, it's a simple matter of give her a call. Sis, let's chat. She said that they grew up having a great relationship. Despite the differences, they have a good relationship. It's to be honest with me, from Prophessor Nick, it's a minor. It's a minor. There are a lot more worse things in this world. It's a minor. Pick up the phone, or go to your sisters, ask out for brunch, cup of tea, have a chat. This is it. Don't have that expecting a yes from her. Yeah. Just have the conversation with the mentality of sharing. Yeah. With time, she will come around. She will come, because the sister is right. I'm not, in all fairness, the sister is right. Yeah. Zimbabwe exists, Nigeria exists. There are other countries out there, and we have to be careful. Otherwise, we head back to, racism and discrimination and all this. So if the joke was of that nature, And unless if it was in banter, but she has to be careful of that as well. We are allowed to make racist jokes, banterful jokes, rude jokes, and those sorts of jokes. If it was just banter, she also has to navigate that line properly. But if there's a genuine concern of her sister's view, have that conversation. But it's a minor. I think it's a minor. Go have tea.
I think at the same time, I think my issue is sometimes humor is very subjective. And it's a problem when humor is subjective because the sister who's offended probably has made a joke about a different kind of demographic, a different kind of bia, as in homophobia, xenophobia. She's probably in a different setting. She'll probably laugh at a joke about something that maybe that
Death
doesn't touch her so much. And I think sometimes we have to be careful that we're not judging people based on something that's close to us because that thing is close to us. Because there comes a day where we joke about something that's not close to us and it doesn't hit us so hard in the head. But it
hit somebody else next to us.
It hit somebody else, yes, exactly. It hit somebody else. And I think unless it's this other sister's character and this other sister's nature, like Pro Nick always says, I think you can always see if something is out of character for somebody. And if something is in character for somebody. So if it's a joke that's out of character for the sister, then I think it's that education, that benefit of the doubt, and then keeping it moving and letting her know that, you know what, jokes of that nature I do find offensive. And obviously if it carries on, then that's a different kind of conversation. But clearly from what she's saying, it doesn't sound like the sister is xenophobic or a racist. And I think at the same time, I want to phrase this correctly, because if I one day mistakenly made a racist joke out of banter with no intentions of being racist, does that automatically make me a racist? Because we have to understand that racism is the dislike, the hatred of somebody because of their skin color. Xenophobia is the dislike, the hatred of somebody because of the country that they come from. So if that's where my banter is coming from, then fair enough. Yes, I am xenophobic. I am homophobic. I am racist, whatever you want to label me. But it has to be that. I think just a one-off, misjudged, misplaced joke does not necessarily make me racist, homophobic, or xenophobic. Yes, maybe I've made a racist comment, but I don't think it automatically makes me a racist. I don't know. Does that make sense? Yeah.
I mean, like, I feel like this is like right up my field because we're talking about jokes. I eat and breathe jokes. It's like, you remember that quote you gave of what's his name? Gavin. Is it Gavin?
I think you're thinking of Ricky Gervais.
Ricky Gervais, that's the one. I was gonna get there eventually.
Ricky Gervais.
Yeah.
You didn't even get there even after.
I was gonna get there. Mind your own, right? I think he put it perfectly. To say that when something is not funny, something's not funny for you. I think what Fatsani said is spot on because.
So you're backtracking then, because all you were saying, the sister is right to be open-minded or whatever.
Yes.
She needs to be patient with her. But
yes.
Now you're saying
so remember what she addressed. Her. She's put it in two categories. Say that if it is if there is a place for a proper concern of where that joke has stemmed from. Yeah. If she's seen that, okay, this person has got is a racist by nature, so they have a hate of other racists, or they have a hate of foreigners from other countries. Yeah, so we're no longer talking about just jokes there.
But then, if that is the case, then would you say that she should still?
If that is the case, then that's how I responded initially, first and foremost. Yeah.
To say what?
What I was saying about working with the sister and so on and so on, because she's seen and been through a lot and she's changed and she's trying to bring change to her sister and so on and so forth. That's what I said. But then purely on the joke part of it. Yeah. So that's why I was jumping on what she's saying. If you're talking about jokes, because she's spot on. Jokes aren't evil. Yeah. So it's not because I've made a racist joke, I'm a racist. That's why we have things like racist jokes. That's why we have things like rude jokes. That's why we have things like inappropriate jokes. There will always be a category that's going to find this thing funny. Yeah. At the same time, there's always going to be people that don't find these things funny.
But then someone could argue that people finding it funny are the racists or are the xenophobics.
And I think that's why I'm saying no, unless it stems
so does that
deep
mean,
into it.
a lot of that would then mean a lot of black people are racist.
A lot of black people are racist. I always say this. But what do you mean? Explain what you mean.
By the social construction of racism, the scholars will tell you that black people cannot be racist. Or, you don't,
that is
I'm
true.
just giving an example.
That
I don't
is
want
that.
you huffing and puffing at me.
Because I also disagree with that. But carry on.
Yeah, that's
carry
fine.
on.
I'm just quoting. Don't huff and puff at me.
I mean,
you're the one
you
saying
brought the
it.
quote. He's having a puffing at the quote.
I can't
Exactly.
have Professor Weinstein from the book. He's not here.
Go find him and huff and puff at him.
Carry on.
So going by that definition, that socially, the social construct of race and the social construct of racism, black people cannot be racist because race is built on power, yada, 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 historically. A lot of black people find race jokes funny. Does that make them racist? Obviously, you've got your own opinions. Park those aside. Just the presentation I've made. Does that make them racist?
Yes.
Okay, hold on.
No,
I don't know if you're being serious.
It still would because if my rebuttal to what he was saying was someone
Which
could
I hadn't
argue
finished.
that if someone finds a racist joke funny, they are racist. That's the argument they're making.
Yeah.
That's the conclusion they're drawing.
Yeah.
Therefore, if you find a racist joke funny, equals you're a racist.
So is that,
if
your,
you're telling
is that
me,
your view as well?
that's not my view. No,
No, but I wasn't talking about that. I was posing it to you and Pro Nick, as in what has been said. Is that your view as well?
Of what? If you find a racist joke funny, you're
Therefore,
racist?
you're racist.
No, of course not.
Yeah, I don't think so either. So the point I wanted to make in regards to that, the reason why I was jumping in on what she said, I wanted to say that because jokes are subjective like that, it's fine for the sister that went abroad and traveled to find a joke not funny. That doesn't make the other sister that found it funny at fault or in the wrong. At face value, unless if we are getting rid of comedy, unless if we are getting rid of jokes, because whatever can be said about racist jokes can also be said about, even if we're talking about, let's say, pedophile jokes, or if we're talking about old people jokes, or if you're talking any joke, you can always say that, no, it means that you don't like this set of people, or it means that you're against old people, or it means that you. So technically, we might as well start a movement to get rid of jokes. We don't need to be laughing. Let's just keep it moving.
Okay, fine.
You get me?
Because a lot of jokes that work are as a result of a ridicule of something.
Exactly.
That's what makes
often it's that play on word she was the other sister was talking about.
So to get to the bottom line, then this sister has reached out and said, this is what happened. This is the issue. Obviously, she was saying, I want to mend the reef, but I don't know how. So what would you say to her in order to go about mending the reef? We'll start with Fatsani.
She needs to just have an open and frank conversation with her sister.
Saying what?
Saying, I think she doesn't need to label her a racist based off one joke. I think she needs to present how she felt in that moment, what that joke meant for her, and what place she is coming from. Having travelled as much as I have, having seen what I have seen, I don't appreciate jokes like that because of A, B, C, D, and E. So what you said, I found offensive. I would appreciate it if in my presence you didn't make those kind of jokes, because I do find them offensive. And if you want to find out a little bit more, read A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and Z.
Read.
She sounds like the kind
my name is gonna send her like internet pages.
Listen,
She's gonna give her
Watch this clip. Listen to this guy.
If she's thinking of not talking to her forever, she might as well throw.
They say they haven't spoken since then. It's like nobody knows how to make the first move.
That's very good advice. I wouldn't really disagree with that. Do you want to add anything?
Nah, I think that is spot on. She just needs to realize that what she said, like, it's her sharing how that made her feel, not necessarily saying that you are wrong for doing this, you are this, you are that. No, because she found it funny, she didn't find it funny. In their presence, it would be nice if you could not make those kind of jokes. I think that's spot on advice.
I think jokes, people's humor changes over time based on life experience.
Yeah.
Before, I would have probably found jokes about water funny, but now I don't find jokes about water funny because water seems to be the kryptonite in this house. Everything we get floods. So if someone makes a joke about water, I'm not laughing.
Still funny.
A couple of months ago, I'd be kicking, and I think that's how,
now it hits home.
that's how humor
And
moves.
things are not funny sometimes when they do hit home.
Right?
Now you really understand that. Before you're just
You can
laughing
relate,
now,
exactly.
I can relate now.
But so this, like I said, this sister has obviously travelled and she's seen a different side of the world. So now something that maybe I think we have to look at it from the side of the other sister as well. She probably said that being comfortable with her sister, thinking
Exactly.
she'll probably find this funny, not knowing that something in her sister has switched based on the lived experiences she's had from her traveling. So you do also sometimes have to give, I think, to give especially people that you know personally the benefit of the doubt and question, actually, why would she say something like that to me? But then you also have to evaluate, okay, has something in me changed? Is that something that maybe 2 months ago Pro Nick could have said to me and would have laughed about it?
Reflecting.
No, you do have to reflect sometimes, because I think we're always quick to say that the problem is the other person. But actually, it could be us. Something in me has changed. It's not necessarily that that other person has done something really, really wrong. They made a similar joke to you 2 months ago and you both laughed about it. But in that 2 months, something has happened to you and something inside you has changed, and that a joke of a similar nature no longer lands the same.
Okay, I was about to say what I was planning you, but then I was like, you come with those jokes.
No, that's fine. I'm happy with that answer.
Yeah,
I think that's a very good answer. And this woman and anyone else in a similar situation,
does she have a name?
I think that's we're offbeat, and I think that's our POV. I like that. That's fine. Okay, thank you.